Welcome to Learn and Go, the podcast. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Learn and Go, the podcast. I am your host, Sydnee. I am also the author of Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Go, How a Preacher's Daughter Pole Danced Her Way to Finding Her True Self. And I am super excited for another vacation episode. So sorry I'm not live, but I am here with one of my dear friends, Benjamin. Hi, I'm so excited to welcome you to the program. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. I am a Gentile. I apologize.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. It's an honor to be on here and part of the recording series. I was watching the other night Jimmy Kimmel, who does a similar thing when he goes on vacation. He gets all these different celebrities who co-host and such. So, to be one of your guests for your vacation is a great honor.
I'm so glad you're here. And it's so funny you said that because I also saw that Rosie O'Donnell was back. And I have to watch it because the clips I saw, hilarious. But I'm so glad you made the time to meet with me today. For the people who are not familiar with you, if you want to just give a little bit, whatever you want to share, maybe how we met, stuff like that, so that we can get into what you have going on that we can talk about for you.
Sure. So, I'm trying to remember technically how we met because it feels like I've known you forever, to be honest. I know it had to do with our mutual friend, Johnny Necro, Johnny.
Yes.
Logan Harley, through him, we kind of started talking and communicating, and you could fill in some of the gaps because in my head, it was like we started talking and then I started listening to podcasts and then I ordered your book, of course, which I read. Eventually we fell down a rabbit hole where we met at Tromathon twice now. I was on your show previously interviewing you for your own book. So it's just been kind of a whirlwind of we've been friends for quite a while now. So that's I remember.
I was hoping you could fill in the blanks because I just feel like I've known you forever. And like you said, I know, I think I met you in person the first time at my first Tromathon.
Yes.
Which was 3 Tromathons away, counting this year now. And then we got to meet up in New York, which was so fun to film Curse of the Ghostwriter, which was amazing, and do some day drinking, which is always a fun thing.
No, it was it was the 4 of us, so it was just a nice small fun drinking group. And I remember I wasn't really shooting much that day, but I happened to be in the city that day, so I ended up meeting up with you. And I remember your hairstyle. I don't want to give anything away for when people see the movie, but but it sounded like a fun day. And then you saw someone else who I won't mention because I don't want to spoil, but you saw another wonderful guest who will be in the film, who was phenomenal. So, and then I guess talking a little bit about myself. So, Benjamin Hyam, I guess as you can see from my shirt, I do Turkey Man 2. The origin of there you go, and the artwork, so perfect. So I've been doing Turkey Man 2 for about 3 years now. I'm on social media on Facebook, X, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And my character is a continuation of a previous character from Troma Entertainment. Turkey Man, the original one, came out a little over 10 years ago. There was a time where Troma did a lot of shorts, and they did a one Dolphin Man versus Turkey Man. The creator was a guy by the name of John Brennan. Some of the people watching this may be familiar. He worked for Troma, Joe Bob's Last Drive-In, Up All Night with Ron DeShear, plus his own podcast and projects. So about 3 years ago, I started doing it for fun, and slowly I started getting into some of the promos for Troma. I started showing up at events and things, and a couple of years later, I'm popping up in a couple of different films. Off the top of my head, Killer Cox, which is going to be an excellent film. The Power of Positive Murder by Troma. Curse of the Ghostwriter, like you mentioned, with Johnny. Even though I'm not being Turkey Man, that I'm acting without the turkey face. Let's see. Poltergeist 2, of course. Power of Positive Murder, I think I said, from Troma. Sister Beretta coming up, which I'm really excited about. And Kevin Walters' Tower Rats. I'm doing a brief cameo in Our Man Funk. I think that's everything. And TV show, very important, Fantastico Disaster Beast Theater. I cameoed one season. Mine's coming up in November, ironically. And then, so I'm supposed to be doing it for the next season, season 5, which they're still crowdfunding, fundraising for. So if anyone's interested, check out Gringo Fantastico on social media. Yeah, it's the Rec Center is his website, reccenter.com, and he's fundraising for season 5, which, if anyone hasn't seen it before, think of it as kind of like the classic Joe Bob Briggs or Rhonda Shear. He does funny skits, and we'll watch a movie.
Oh, fun.
So it's a lot of fun. And what I love about this season, so last season was my first cameo on the show, and I kind of had to explain a little bit who Turkey Man was in the conversation, because I just recognize that not everyone knows who Turkey Man is, even some of the newer fans of Troma. So this one, because I got to introduce last time, I just get to really go tear apart one of the characters on the show, Francois, who's a talking demonic pinata, which is as ridiculous as it's
okay. I'm in.
And
I'm in.
You got it out. It's on Troma Now. Troma Now, first month free, $4.99. The time after. Just a lot of fun independent films, but definitely Fantastico Disaster Beast Theater is an excellent, funny, ridiculous show. I'm excited for my upcoming cameo, hopefully next season as well. So I highly recommend people check it out.
Excellent. So, not to cut you off, because that was a lot of information.
Yeah,
so we need to dive into this a little bit more. But your socials, is it Turkey Man 2 on all of the platforms?
That's right. If you do Turkey Man and then like lowercase L's, then you'll be able to find me pretty easily. So it was kind of weird, because when you do the search on the socials, it'll pop up. But I tried doing like a save on one of them, and it was like a lowercase L, big case L. It was very weird, but it's Roman numeral, so just 2 lowercase L's or 2 capital I's. And
I was going to say, it's lowercase L's, not capital I's.
You can
Does
do
it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter what it is. All right, gotcha. So that I wanted to put it up there so people could see it and follow it, but I wanted to make sure I was not putting up incorrect information.
Oh no, I appreciate it.
So yes, so Troma Now you mentioned, and we all love Troma Now. So I got this little video you sent me. I would love to share.
Yeah. Turkey Man here with your upcoming November premieres on Troma Now. Join us for such gems as Fantastico's Disaster Beast Theater, The Den, and Swamp Woman, and many more. That's tromanow.com. Only $4.99 a month, and your first month is free.
I love it.
You can easily know that's one of my early videos, and I think it's technically my first one, because the glass that I have in there is not my normal martini dark green. I tried using a couple of things in the beginning, and I'll give a shout out to a gentleman by the name of Mike Fink, who worked for Troma at the time, who was kind of the first one who said to me, you're interested in doing this turkey thing, why don't we shoot something with you and see what happens? And then, a couple of the projects, Killer Cox, Power Positive Murder, he was kind of the one who reached out to me and said, hey, we're doing this project, why don't you pop in? Why don't you see what? So, giving him a quick shout out for helping with the introduction of Turkey Man into a little bit of the cinematic universe before getting to a point where thankfully people have started to recognize and started to ask me to do things, which is quite lovely.
I was going to say, I noticed at Tromathon people were coming up to get pictures with you because they knew who Turkey Man 2 was. So I'm curious, what attracted you to being Turkey Man 2? Like, is there something inherently about turkeys, or is it like more the original character you wanted to draw on?
Yeah, so originally, prior to doing Turkey Man, I showed up to a couple of Troma events. I did Toxie once or twice with the mask on. I did like a Jewish Toxie for a little bit, and it was fun, but I felt like, so many people, one of our mutual friends, Aaron Markham, he does Toxie in Texas. Like a lot of people do
Texas
Toxie. Excuse me, do Toxie all over. And I kind of wanted to do something more independent. I wanted to do, even if it wasn't a big thing, something small that was within that universe. So I started watching some of the old Troma stuff, and I stumbled upon Dolphin Man versus Turkey Man. And at the time, I was very heavy into being plant-based, of, animal rights and eating good and healthy. I will say I still support animal rights. I'm not going to pretend that I'm all plant-based as much anymore. I will drop that bomb on you. So
I am. This is big news. Like,
yes. So
attention,
no,
Benjamin is not plant-based anymore.
I'm still for the most part, but I have, cheated it now and then for obvious reasons. I don't do turkey. So
Yes.
out of love for my character, I don't eat turkey. But so I saw the character and it was ridiculous. It was fun. It was a pro animal rights message. It was, this kind of, he was a villain, but I thought, in a cool way. One thing he's done that I still haven't done on camera, which I'm a little upset about, is he has this power where he could put his hand on your head and you throw up gravy. Like it's as ridiculous as it sounds.
That does sound wonderfully ridiculous. I love it.
If anyone has a chance, again, John Brennan did it. He did a brilliant job. That's the original one. Dolphin Man versus Turkey Man. You can catch it on YouTube pretty easily, or on Troma Now, of course. And it's just a funny, yes, it's focused on Thanksgiving, of course, but it's just a funny, silly video that was great. And, I loved his outfit. I loved his shtick. So I wanted to do kind of my own interpretation of that. So I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'm, being this version of Turkey Man. I wanted to be my own version. So I started doing Turkey Man 2. The outfit is a nod. He usually wears a white button-down shirt, black blazer, and black pants. My version, their version is more of like a dark navy type thing. So it wanted to be like a simple nod. I picked up on the whole drinking the green martinis. And, as Turkey Man 2 has kind of evolved, he's kind of more of a rebel than I would say. He likes being a villain, but if you follow him on, let's say, X, he's very nice, he's very kind, he's not like insulting people left and right. So he's kind of a multicultural type thing, I feel like. So, it's been a lot of fun. And again, this started from me just popping up as Turkey Man to me giving a lot of time and energy to doing the social media, to being places, using my own funds to do graphics like this. Shout out to Sling Skull from Mountain Wizard Tattoo Company, Pocono Lake, PA, who did this specific design. And she also, I can't say it right now, but my Turkey Man 2 tattoo that I got there. And also shout out to Troma Dan, who didn't do this one, but he's done several of my other shirts for Diaper Mafia and Poltergeist 2. So, there's a lot of great artists in the Troma universe, or Troma adjacent, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. And I believe there is also a horror adorable of Turkey Man 2 that Johnny and Annie have created for you as well. And I wanted to give you a shout out because the outfit that you are describing and the Turkey Man 2 mask and everything, you were a trooper because Tromathon this year was like 150 degrees and like 110% humidity, and you walked around in that.
It was rough. I'm not gonna deny that. Bullets. I'm not going to deny that. And, I was very honored. Horror Adorables, for anyone who's not familiar, you should check it out. It's like these really cute, like sinister cartoon characters. And what Johnny does is he does a lot of the classic characters, but he's done a couple of Troma ones over the years. He won't do it unless he kind of is inspired to do it. So finally, he decided it was time for Turkey Man 2 to be included. He did a really funny one with me sticking up the middle finger. I'm not sure why he chose that one, but it works really well. I think it's hysterical. So, I finally became a horror adorable, which was a really nice honor. And I didn't include it, but there's some really nice pictures on my social media of me and him together with the original artwork and such. So it was a really nice honor.
That's awesome. And it's funny, like listening to you talk, I keep getting, how ADHD my brain is. So when you said about popping up, and then I'm like, would you ever do Turkey Man 2 with like a pop-up timer sticking? Like that was just turkey and popping up. I'm like, nah.
I've done, Turkey Man 2, two things I'm thinking off the top of my head that I did more independently, that one of them Troma supported, one of them I kind of just did, was we did a Valentine's Day thing where it was Turkey Man was, trying to look for a Valentine, and
know.
somebody special, maybe on this, was included in that. And we had some really brilliant actresses that did it. They each did their own thing, which was fantastic. I have to give credit to Jess and Kabuki Lin, who I thought both did phenomenal ones. I think you can find them online. If not, I'm happy to provide the link. But I've done a couple of shorts on Instagram with Bikini Girl, who's been in one of the Toxie comic books. She's been in a couple of the Troma promos, at least the graphics wise. So me and her have done a couple of fun videos together as well. So Turkey Man 2 is usually up for doing different things. And me outside the turkey, I also am open to doing some acting. Like I said, Curse of the Ghost Rider, I don't have my mask on. I play a role, which again, I won't go too heavy into, but that one's really exciting. I have The Contract. It was announced that I'll be doing a video cameo as a news reporter. So I'm really excited for Reaper and all the people, in that universe, in the Black Flame universe. I hope I said that correctly. And then, I'm doing a voice cameo and possibly an in-person and possibly a video one in Our Man Funk as well. So I'm pretty open-minded to do things.
You are a busy butt.
It's a lot of different projects going around, but as you probably have seen with Power Positive Murder, you could do the film one day and then it still be a year, 2 years. Like I've done several projects and almost none of them have been released yet. So it's kind of a weird standby period with all of it. So they're all great projects. I'm just waiting for, them to get released so that, hopefully I could do some more.
It's like, you're just sitting there looking at the gift and you haven't opened it yet. That's what, because I'm so excited to see when these come out, and same as you, and in a lot of the same projects we've both been in that haven't been released yet. So
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, you said you can't spoil too much about this one.
Yeah.
But if you want to give a little, whatever you can share, I don't want you to get in trouble.
So this is a behind the scenes image from Poultrygeist 2. Dawn of the Chicken Dead, which is, of course, the sequel to the Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead from Troma Entertainment. That's me, and that is a gentleman by the name of Daniel Blake, who has done Dolphin Man for the last couple of years for Troma. So there is a version of Dolphin Man and Turkey Man that will show up in Poultrygeist 2. I have unfortunately not seen the whole movie yet, and that's something we could talk about, but I've seen bits of it. I think it's very funny, the bits that I've seen. Some include me, some don't. And me and him each traveled to California. I was there for like 24 hours. He was there for, I think, an extra day or so. And we went on location. We shot the scenes we were supposed to be in, which are a lot of fun. And then I left shortly after. It was a really great experience. Mercedes the Muse is one of my favorite indie directors. I love her movies. One of her first movies was Honor Killing, which I got her to sign.
Nice.
Which one of the cool parts about meeting someone like that who you're a fan of their work is I brought this and a bunch of the other DVDs of her films, and she was kind of shocked to be asked to sign it. And then some of the other cast members who were in this film, who were in other Mercedes the Muse films, like signed as well, and they kind of kept giving the same, like, someone's asking for my autograph, like in a really nice, positive way. I think there's something special about when someone gets like happy surprise that they're recognized in that way, especially when they do indie films. So, but everyone on set was lovely. We, didn't have too many reshoots, which was great. Everything flowed really nicely. And I was there for one of the very big scenes in the movie. So everyone was crazy and insane and all the amazing things you would think in a Troma film. So I'm incredibly excited when it, eventually comes out. Right now, it's a question mark of when it's going to be released and how. I believe it should be released in some way, shape, or form. I think it should be sooner than later. I think Mercedes and her team did an extraordinary job working on a tight budget and giving 110%, trying to be everywhere and do everything. The bits that I've seen of the film are incredible. I will say it because this has been kind of one of the big rumored things is, yes, there's nudity. Yes, there's sexual content in it. If you've seen any of Mercedes Muse films, this is not a new thing. She's done it in pretty much all of her films in some way, shape, or form. She ratchets up to 50 of course, because, when you do an amazing film, you want to go bigger, badder, better. So, I think the film should be released. I think it's going to be something that there are fans who are going to be shocked, which is a good thing. There are fans who are going to love it. And there are people who will probably hate it because it's a sequel. And no matter what the movie is, unless you're like The Godfather Part 2 or a couple of rare exceptions,
Evil Dead 2.
Evil right, unless you're a few exceptions, you're usually going to get flack if you're, the sequel film compared to the original. So, I'm very much on the team release it. I hope Mercedes and her team are able to do it in some way, shape, or form in the near future. And, it's a disappointment at Traumathon not being able to see it on the big screen. That was what was marketed. There were, again, I can't speak to what happened behind the scenes, but there was a decision not to show it. And I know Mercedes went out and showed a couple of showings in California, which went very well from what I was told. So yeah, so I'm hoping people will see it, because I think it's a great movie from what I've seen. I think my performance is halfway decent from what I've been told from others who've seen it. I think Daniel does a great job as Dolphin Man, and like I said, the rest of the cast and crew are just phenomenal. So, which they always are.
Let's say Veda's in that too, right?
Veda's in it. Veda's in it, and she's great. Nutty Peach is in it, and she's great. A lot of guest cameos, which I don't want to say too much about because I don't.
Oh yeah, we don't want to spoil.
But if you've seen Mercedes films, then you will see a lot of similar cast members. She, like certain directors, just uses a lot of the same people over and over just because they work well together. No reason why not to. And then if you're a fan of Troma, there's quite a few cameos, and I know for a fact Poltergeist fans, there's a specific cameo that you're gonna go, ah! So it's going to be really exciting. So
nice.
So I would say follow Poltergeist 2 on social media. I know Instagram and Facebook, they're very active, or Mercedes the Muse, to just find out if there's any updates.
Excellent. Yeah, because I agree with you. Like, there's probably a million movies that have been released that I don't care to see, and that's fine. So don't keep it from being released. There's always going to be people that want to see it and people that don't. Let independent filmmakers make their films, and then let the viewers decide if they want to watch it or not. I want to see it. I want to see, honestly, all of this, what's going on with it makes me want to see it even more. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a plus for her that it's had this controversy.
Well, there's a reason I think you've seen since it didn't get released, that you've been seeing as a promotion, too graphic for Troma or too. And, you got to remember, this is the company that's done Toxic Avenger movies. They did Terra Firma, that has done, Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, that has done many films where there's violence, nudity, all the different gambits. So
lots of poopy stuff.
Yeah, lots of poopy stuff. And,
I just had Shakespeare's shitstorm in my head. I'm like, ah.
No, but that's the thing. Like, they've done so much over the years and have shown so much over the years that, I'm a little surprised that they haven't released it. I know Mercedes' previous film, which The Rise of the Tromettes, which just came out on DVD by a different company, they showed it at the drive-in but didn't release it on Troma Now. So, maybe that's kind of around where the border is with what they'll show graphically on Troma Now. But at the same time, I feel like even if you're not comfortable showing it, then at least maybe work with someone else to get it, shown somewhere else, so that way people can still enjoy it, because you marketed the film, people know the film exists. At this point in the game, it just doesn't make sense to not release it in some way, shape, or form. So I hope Troma with Mercedes can figure out some sort of agreement where it can be released in the near future and not, left on the shelf somewhere. I really hope so.
Yeah, I do too, because I know a lot of people worked really hard on it. So sorry. I'm mentally a 12-year-old boy, and when I just said hard, I had to giggle. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're not even talking about Killer Cox and you're making that joke. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
So I'm very self-aware that playing a Turkey Man 2 character, a Turkey Man character, I play a lot of interesting films and be in a lot of interesting situations. So you got to find it all.
Does Turkey Man 2 have any insecurities sharing the screen with Big Pecker?
So I think he would get a kick out of working with Big Pecker. I will say, I think Killer Cox is going to be a lot of fun when it comes out. I know James and the rest of the team has done a phenomenal job working on it behind the scenes. As anyone knows, for independent films, if you're a big studio, then okay, I film it, I take it to this department, it's edited, I take it to this department for the farm, and it's out within a year or a couple of months. But when you're independent, it's a handful of people, if even that.
If you're lucky, yeah.
Some projects, it's literally you and maybe one other person trying to get it all together. So it's a lot of labor-intensive love. So I'm excited for whenever Killer Cox comes out. And also, they do sell merch. They do a really cool T-shirt, but as you can see, I like my beanies, so I would say check that out as well. So I know they're very active on Facebook. So if you look up Killer Cox, please check them out. It's as silly as it sounds. It's killer chickens fighting humans, and Turkey Man 2 does a cameo in it. And actually, the voice of it, Aaron, who you mentioned earlier, he does what I've called a John Hurt type voice for Turkey Man. In the beginning, he was kind of the voice for Turkey Man, and then kind of as projects and time went on, I just did kind of my own version and went in a different direction because, I couldn't call Aaron all the time to do the voice, though he's an incredibly nice person, so I'm sure he would have said yes. But, so it kind of took on a life of its own and the projects I've done.
Excellent. Yeah. And I'm curious because I'm actually in a scene in Killer Cox, but I think it's just my 6 head sticking out like behind the rest of the crowd in the parking lot. I was behind somebody else. So I think it's only going to be like this much of me.
All right. So look, everyone will appreciate that you have good head.
Exactly. Yes. No complaints. So yeah, I'm excited to see that movie as well. And we were talking about Curse of the Ghost Rider, which again, I cannot wait until that comes out. But the one thing that you mentioned that I have not heard of is Tower Rats. You were saying.
Yeah, so there's a gentleman by the name of Kevin Walters who made a movie, Tower Rats, several years ago. You can watch it on Troma now. And in the film, it's like it feels like a lot of random clips all put together. So it's like very much a ride type film where you're watching it, and one scene a person's yelling, another scene a person's in the parking lot, another scene. It's like kind of all over the place. So he is working on a new updated edition, which will be coming out. I don't have further details on when and where, but I was asked by him, which was very nice of him, to do a small cameo where I flip someone off as Turkey Man. So I'm very excited for that one, which will be, I believe that's going to be directly on physical release and then hopefully updated on Troma Now. So that'll be one of the things. The other film that is a little up in the air, it's coming out, I just don't know the date, is The Power of Positive Murder, which of course we were both fortunate to be in. Sadly not the same scene, but we were both able to be in that. So I'm very excited for that movie as well. It's supposedly Lloyd's last directorial film. We'll see if that ends up being the case. He's got a lot of energy, and he's still, God bless him, he's still traveling, he's still doing all the things he needs to do. So we'll see what happens. But one scene that I know definitively was not recorded, and it breaks my heart a little bit, is in that movie. I'm part of the bar scene. That's mostly where you'll see me in that as Turkey Man, and there was a large cast in that movie regarding like Lisa Gay's in that scene, Toxie's in that scene, Kabuki Man's in that scene. Like, just, it's a very cool scene. And there was a part where all the heroes and villains were kind of fighting each other at the bar. I found out afterwards that no one recorded it. And it crushed my heart, because in my head, this would have been such a fun scene to have Troma fans see a bunch of the heroes and a bunch of the villains fighting each other in the bar. But
that would have been amazing.
Would have been awesome.
Is that the picture of Lisa Gay? Is this from Power of Positive Murder?
Yes. So Lisa Gay comes back as one of her infamous characters from Troma. And Lisa, similar with Debbie Rochon and really any of the legends from Troma, are just the sweetest people in real life. Like, she didn't recognize me with the turkey head on, but she recognized me without it. And then we've, bumped into each other a couple of times, but she's just absolutely lovely. And I will say, if you're able to go to a convention or anything where you get to meet the original Toxies, or you get to meet any of the, classic cast members or legends of the classic Trauma films, they're all incredibly sweet and just really nice people.
That's been my experience too. So I'm glad that's been your experience as well. I have not had the pleasure of meeting her in person, but everything I've ever heard about her is that she's a wonderful, wonderful person. So that is awesome. I was trying to find, I know you sent me a picture of you and Lloyd.
Yeah.
I picked the right one. Yay.
So, I mean, me and Lloyd, with the turkey mask and without the turkey mask, have, taken quite a few photos over the years. This one is obviously one of my favorites because it's in the office. He's right there. We did a short, funny clip afterwards of him trying to eat me. And I was at that office. I was working on a short at the time, and it just worked out where, he was in, and, we had our 5 seconds of, photos and talking. And over the years, with Lloyd, sometimes it's like 5 seconds. Sometimes you get a longer time of speaking with him. It really just depends on what the event is and what the schedule is. But, I've seen a couple of versions of The Power of Positive Murder. I think it's going to be a really fun film. And Lloyd, I think he was just at the Juggalos event. So like that man just...
That tracks.
His first time going, which to me is fascinating, but I've met a lot of Trauma fans who are also Juggalos. So
yes,
as time has gone on, I've kind of seen like, okay, I get why this mixes. And so I hope he had an amazing time. I haven't reached out to him yet about it, but no, but he's a sweetheart in person. And, his staff is always evolving and changing and growing. But, a lot of the team members there, I know, and I've worked with, on some of the Trauma shorts. So, it's been a good experience with them, and really all his... Yeah, I think I'm up to his 4th executive assistant. So, all of them have been nice in different ways. Some of them really like Turkey Man. Some of them, it's like, oh, not in a nasty way, but just they have other stuff to do. So, it varies, but, it's a really good team over there. And, my hope is just there'll be more Trauma films soon, as well as, more Trauma stuff coming out. Obviously, there's tons of merch that have come out the last couple of years, and also the comic book. And, I'm not in the comic book, so I will admit to that, but I will say it's still a fun comic with Toxie and the rest of the team. So.
Excellent. Well, speaking of shorts, you did send me a short that I would love to play. If you would like me to, I can do that. Awesome. So sharing the screen is something that usually takes me a couple seconds. So everyone be patient with the old lady while I do this. Cool. Here we go. Oh no. See, I told you. Here we go.
Take your time.
You know what I'm going to do after this delectable Thanksgiving feast?
Pray tell what?
Oh, I'm going to watch Paramount Plus.
Oh, I love Paramount Plus.
I'm gonna have a little drink because you need to know about movie history. And like when I was working on Rocky, I was scared out of my mind.
These Trauma now, disgusting cretins. These heathens. Ugh, I cannot bear to even talk about it. Makes me want to throw up. Ugh.
Oh, and Amazon Prime is prime rib roast. I love it. I adore it.
Oh, Maura, you kids, though, have a lot to learn.
True, but now. But HBO, on the other hand.
Those Tromongoloids, they know nothing of art.
Holy fucking shit!
That is amazing.
It was awesome. So so in it, you see Lloyd is clearly there. The gentleman on the end with the wine was Matthew, who I want to give a big shout out to. Most of the time when I've done shorts in recent years, he's been kind of the guy directing behind the camera with the ideas. So he's been an absolute pleasure to work with. And of course, the one in the glasses is Sabrina, who's Lloyd's executive assistant. I've had many great conversations with her. She's always been a joy to work with. So, it was a fun atmosphere to be able to be there. On a couple of occasions, I've sponsored their Trauma Tuesday, which is in New York City. So anyone who lives in the nearby area, it's kind of like their movie night where they go to a bar and they'll play some sort of trauma classic. Sometimes ahead of time, sometimes it's a mystery, but it's a fun night. And I've enjoyed doing the shorts. There was another one I did with Matthew where I was like this demonic version of Turkey Man, which was a lot of fun. And I'm hoping to do something soon. I'm a little optimistic because November is coming up soon, and for some reason around November, people want to talk to Turkey Man
too. Yeah,
go figure. I wonder why. But no, but it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, Lloyd has been nothing but supportive of Turkey Man 2, which I've been very thankful for. So anytime he could have called me and said, nah, this is a weird, even for me, this is a weird thing, so don't do it. But no, anytime I've ever seen him, he's been nothing but positive, and I've been grateful for that.
That is awesome. So again, ADHD brain, I was thinking about how you were talking about Turkey Man giving the finger and everything. Do you actually like promote that as Turkey Man 2 giving you the bird? Because you should.
I should. I haven't, but I should. Like on one or two occasions. So the photo that I know for a fact, the photo that inspired Johnny to do it, I had done a video. It was part of a promo video for Sister Beretta, actually. So the main actress, me and her had a back and forth, and I did something where like I did the bird while with my cocktail. It was just a really funny
with
shot.
Your cocktail.
With my cocktail, these things.
Cocktail.
So, that's a project coming up I'm incredibly excited about and looking forward to. But no, that was kind of the inspiration for that. But I don't know. Maybe I will start making the bird part of Turkey Man shtick, him just flipping people off. So we'll see.
I think that would be hilarious. And I'm still hoping to talk to her about Sister Beretta. I had a lot of things come up that were unexpected and dropped the ball. That was me. But like, she's a wonderful, wonderful person. And I love the project. So
yeah.
I think
I was going
to say, I think I actually still have, let me see. Is it this?
What, the trailer?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I think I might still have the trailer in here. Let's see. No, that's something else.
I mean, you made me hungry. I have not eaten breakfast.
We're not going to even say what that was because that I should not have played.
I won't say it. Yeah, no, it's going to be badass. So that was Aaron, and the company behind it is Fabricated Crime, which, they have a small team, but lots of experience working in a number of different places. So the most I can say is, badass nun with guns, revenge film. Turkey Man, it was announced that he's going to be in it, or at least a version of him. I'll leave it at that for now. And
nice.
He's going to be a villain, so I'm really excited for it. As for any details of shooting and so forth, that's to be determined for a lot of different reasons. But there was a brief crowdfunding. It's now gone into private investment, so that's part of the play as well, which is great. They were able to get a lot of support, which is wonderful. So
that's awesome.
I mean, from your experience, crowdfunding can be a very challenging thing. You have cases where, shout out to the contract with Reaper and the crew. They were able to raise their funds and go beyond that in such a high level really quickly, which is great. Whereas other films, I've seen it firsthand where you can barely get to the goal, or, you have to take the little bit, or depending on which crowdfunding source you use, you have to give the money back, so you get nothing, and then you have to look at new sources. So it's very difficult in a lot of cases. And sometimes you're able to do it with brand names. I know there are plenty of actresses and actors who they put their name on it and they can get a good amount of film money for the crowdfunding. Others, it's just more challenging.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason is because a lot of us, it's the same
right
group
Right.
So
Yeah,
we all, and I would love to win the Powerball and like be
of
able to
course.
finance everybody.
Of
But
course.
that's why I encourage people, if you can't financially support a project, share it, because you
Yeah.
don't know whose new eyeballs are going to get on it that might be interested. So
Absolutely.
always does not cost anything to like and share, subscribe, follow, do all of the things for both me and for Benjamin, who is Turkey Man too.
Thank you.
That's all the social media there. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like, comment, all the things, please.
Yeah. So, but no, I think that's I'm trying to think because I know I kind of went all over the place in this interview. So if there's anything I have,
I kept trying to pull you into one direction there,
yeah,
but it's all right.
no. In my head, I was like, we're gonna do it one by one, and then it just through the conversation went a little sporadic. So I apologize
I
to the
think my brain's contagious. It's okay. That's what it's like up here. It's all the things all at once, and
yeah,
it's like, okay, I'll do that right now. But no, I always love talking to you and I love hanging out with you. I'm so glad that I've gotten to so many times and I can't wait to again.
of course.
So
No,
hopefully, since rumor has it, Tromathon is no more, at least not where it is now, which is stinky. But hopefully they bring it back somewhere else close by so we can hang out there.
yeah, I mean, I hope. Again, I don't know the status about it since it was talked about of not having another Tromathon. So I don't know if the plan is to do a new version or do an equivalency, or maybe they hash things out and they have it next year. I don't know, but would certainly love to see you at one of those. And obviously we talk quite a bit. So, anywhere, anything, or knowing Johnny will probably have another project around the corner that we'll be in together.
I hope.
So,
I hope.
Which
Yes.
which I'll drop again. Curse of the Ghostwriter, he's been working on, which is going to be a great film. He's also been involved with Killer Cox, which one thing I don't remember if I mentioned it. Killer Cox, at least last I heard, was going to be on physical media only.
Okay.
They may possibly stream it in the future, but they were pretty adamant about having it as an old school physical media, which I greatly
I
respect.
love that, actually. Yeah,
So,
I think that's great.
So I would say check out the Facebook, Killer Cox. It's very easy to spell.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the coop.
Thank you. So,
Yes.
Go check them out. Otherwise, a lot of fun Troma projects I'm part of. Definitely being on Troma Now will help. And even if you're, not certain about Troma, the nice thing about Troma Now is it's inexpensive compared to the other streaming services. And it's a lot of different types of independent films there, which is a lot of fun. And some classics that are just public domain or, have just kind of fallen in Troma's lap. If you've ever seen some of the behind the scenes documentaries of like the Cannes Film Festival with Troma and Lloyd, you go through how he's been able to get all these rights to all these different movies all these years. So, for all the craziness, there is an actual company and professionalism, behind it. So, which is quite remarkable.
Absolutely. And the really good thing now is your first 30 days are free. So you can try it. And then, if you're like, you know what, I watched all 1 million videos, I don't need to keep it, you can cancel it. But there's so much on there. The first Troma movie that I watched before Toxic Avenger, before Nukem High, before everything was Poultrygeist. So that's why I was excited about Poultrygeist too. Poultrygeist was my first experience into Troma. But there are like Benjamin said, so many different movies on there that aren't even Troma, like Frankenhooker is like one of my absolute favorites. And if you haven't seen that, get the Troma Now just to check. It's so funny.
Absolutely.
So funny.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Well, I am so thankful you hopped on with me. Was there anything else before we wrap up that you wanted? I think we covered a lot.
Yes, I think we were in a good way, a little all over the place, which is nice. But no, if you want to learn more or follow my antics or things I'm doing, again, Blue Sky, Instagram, X, Facebook, Turkey Man 2, you'll be able to find me pretty easily with the look. And just a shout out to Troma for giving me an opportunity to do all this craziness and, all the other amazing people like James, Kat, Aaron, all the amazing influences of people who got me here and have been supportive of my continuation in whatever the future holds for me as an actor and for Turkey Man 2 as just a crazy, crazy fun character to play.
Awesome. And I must say, I'm excited about you doing voice work. You have a great voice for
Okay.
that genre as well.
Appreciate
And
it.
I'm so excited for the community too, because that's how we met.
Yeah.
And it really is a lot of really cool people and really nice people.
That reminds me of one thing we should cover, because you just reminded me. I Heart Horror Community, which
Oh,
one of the slides. So there's a group. It's a nonprofit in PA that basically, yep. So I Heart Horror Day, I Heart Horror. So they do this great thing where they do like these horror cons or events, and it's all for a hospital for medical care. So I just wanted to give
oh,
a shout out to them since they were in the photos. So a good friend of mine, Lisa, she introduced me to the group, and they were able to be at Traumathon this year. So I Heart Horror, if you look them up, they're on X, Instagram, Facebook as well. So they raise money for a good cause. So I just wanted to give them a very very quick shout out at the very end, because it's literally horror community giving back. I mean, it's to me a very natural blend, because I find so many horror fans are just the nicest people. It's kind of like the old idea of, yes, in the movie you're this killing sinister villain, but then off camera you're this pussycat of just this nice kind person. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out.
that's awesome. It's like on screen, you might literally be giving an arm and a leg, and then off screen, you're giving an arm and a leg to help others. So that's great. I'm so glad that you remember to give them a shout out, and I'm definitely going to go follow them and support them. That's fantastic. So awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me. And I always suck at this, so I'm going to share my website. Please get a copy of my book.
Please do.
Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Go-Go.
Absolutely.
And yes, as you go into this next week, if you're not lucky enough to have a friend like Benjamin, like I am, who's always there to listen to my ridiculousness, sometimes it can get tough, and you might decide you want to hide from your problems, but don't do that, because when you stick your head in the sand and you think you're hiding, the rest of the world just sees a big ass. Love ya.